You remember the part where Dustin Hoffman was playing God, but he was not playing God? That was great.
No, for some reason I forgot that he played God, and I always think anybody who ever plays God is just Morgan Freeman. That's all it is.
It's true. Maybe Morgan Freeman was just the best at it. Like, I can't really think of another God I prefer besides Morgan Freeman. Which said out loud sounds weird, but whatever.
Oh, Morgan Freeman, how you are benevolent to God.
Ooh, you are so big. So absolutely huge.
That's what
Gosh,
she said?
We're all really impressed down here, I can tell you.
Now you're beginning to sound like,
Oh, Monty Python, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Meaning of life.
Yep. One of the lesser-known greats.
Wait, what was it? It was before or after that where John Cleese just wraps up his "Stop rubbing linseed oil into the school cormorant." Oh, and Jenkinson, I'm afraid your mother died this morning. Chaplain?
I can't remember if it was before or after.
I think it was after the prayer. They just cut to the shot of this 4-year-old kid. It's like, what did you just tell me?
Isn't the meaning of life where it starts with them as corporate pirates or whatever?
That was the what do they call it? The pre-feature. Yes, yeah. So Terry Gilliam got to direct a short feature right before the main movie. Jesus Christ, Zero! Did you just blow up a blue Dobby?
I did just blow up a blue Dobby. Didn't even see him there. Just kind of walked in and fucked shit up.
God damn, that's a lot of loot. All right, anyway, it's 9 o'clock, so we're probably going to start here. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to Church of Chonkwij Podcast. My name is DrNiggle. I'm joined tonight by Kosen, Masami, OmegaConstruct, Zero Burn, or just Zero.
The usual people in the unusual configuration.
That's right. Ho, ho, ho. It's Monday, December 20th. We're 5 days away from Christmas.
Christmas podcast.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Winter thing.
I forgot that Zero is, what are you? Are you Islamic or Muslim, Zero? We're celebrating a solemn, honorable Ramadan.
I'm 1/32 Jewish.
So you're not Muslim.
On my mother's side.
Okay.
Well, okay. Yeah. All right.
That's fine. All right.
Happy Hanukkah. Even though that was already over.
A happy Hanukkah, a tip-top tet, a crazy Kwanzaa, and a solemn, honorable Ramadan. It's a wild Simpsons reference in the wild.
It was so wild, it just wilded past us.
Truly was. So yeah, I spent last week getting my ass kicked by the COVID booster.
Yeah, that was our yeah, I think we got it somewhat around that point. It was not good for me. I mean, not any worse than the normal shot, but still wasn't great.
Well, I go to get mine on the 26th, so
it's a good time. Honestly, this is a good time to get it because
yeah,
it wasn't a huge inconvenience for me to take a weekend. Plus, the work that I had to do mainly involved sitting in front of a computer anyway, so I was just sitting there with a blanket and a bottle of Powerade or something. I don't know. Because I'm an athlete, so I drink exclusively Gatorade and sugar water drinks.
Gotta get those electrolytes.
Yeah, gotta get those electrolytes from somewhere. Brondo. Brondo has electrolytes.
It's got what plants need.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got what plants crave.
Thank
you. What plants crave? God damn it! I need to get my Idiocracy references up. Also, what's Terry Crews up to nowadays? I miss that man.
He is still amazing in every way. He is a national treasure and should be protected at all costs. Kind of like Nicolas Cage.
Oh, is this where we segue into that freaking movie he's doing?
Oh Christ! I don't have anything pulled up for that, but yeah, we totally can. Masami, did you post that?
I did not post that. That was
me. That was definitely me. Yeah, it was the header to that posting was, the meme universe has finally caught up with us. Nicolas Cage is now starring in a movie about Nicolas Cage, starring Nicolas Cage as Nicolas Cage. At least he has become hilariously self-aware.
It kind of reminds me of the movie Being John Malkovich. Anybody remember that?
Yes.
Yes, but John Malkovich is an interesting person. Sorry, Nicolas Cage.
And Nicolas Cage isn't?
No, okay, so first of all, to try and pull something up, I just Googled Nicolas Cage movie about Nicolas Cage, and the first thing that popped up was Pig. So I'm not sure if anybody saw Pig this last year, but it's Nicolas Page with a chig. Nicolas Page with a kig. Yeah, that's what it would be. Anyway, so is this movie... Oh, yeah, and second of all, Kosen, whenever I think of Nicolas Cage talking about, or like his movies, his serious shit like that, I always think of, there's an interview that he did with Craig Ferguson on The Late Late Show years ago, probably a decade at this point, where he came on and Craig immediately made some joke about the quality movie that had just come out starring Nicolas Cage, which was probably at the time like Ghost Rider or something. And Nicolas Cage, without missing a beat, was just like, yeah, I really enjoyed working on the movie. I think it's a really fantastic film, and the people are really going to enjoy it. And what preceded was the most interesting 30 seconds of television that I may have ever seen, where Nicolas Cage honestly thinks that everything that he's in is fantastic, and that's the reason why he chooses to be in it. He thought Ghost Rider, all the Ghost Rider movies, and all the National Treasure movies were unironically great films. They didn't win any awards for some reason, but he thought that they were great.
Hey, just because you win awards doesn't mean they're fantastic.
Just because you're in a movie called Jiu-Jitsu, which nobody has ever heard of, yeah, doesn't mean that you don't think that it's a great movie, and that, you know, you're perfectly entitled to your opinion, and I'm glad that he's having fun. But Zero, was the movie that you're talking about called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Okay, I'll pull this up. A cash-strapped Nicolas Cage agrees to make a paid appearance at a billionaire superfan's birthday party, but is really an informant for the CIA, since the billionaire fan is a drug kingpin. So this is Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage, who is actually a secret CIA agent. And the movie is called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
So, in all honesty, if anybody could be an undercover agent for the CIA, it would be Nicolas Cage, because nobody would suspect it.
Well, now they will.
There's a fucking movie about it now, Zero. No, all right, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Oh, gosh.
Thanks for ruining my fucking point.
I know, I thought I accentuated it beautifully.
Appreciate that.
Good job, Masami.
The only other person who could potentially be a CIA agent that nobody would ever suspect would be like, I don't know.
On the other hand, no, wait.
No, everybody would suspect that.
The one who nobody suspected was the dude who came up with all those game shows for NBC. Who was legitimately a secret agent for U.S. intelligence services back in the 70s.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a movie about it. And he didn't tell anybody about it until he was, like, about to die.
Was that Merv Griffin?
No. That would be great, though.
Merv Griffin, the CIA operative.
That one would take me by surprise. I'll give that one to you. Damn. But The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent also apparently stars The Mandalorian and Neil Patrick Harris.
Hairless, you mean?
That's a D&D character. Poor real life Neil Patrick Harris has nothing to do with my stupidity.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I hope not. He don't think that he definitely doesn't follow me on Twitter. I don't think he knows who I am.
Yet.
Yet.
So now you've given me an idea for a Mimi alternate Twitter account. Thank you.
Neil Patrick Harris. Well, he's got to have that check mark next to his name, or else I'm gonna know it's fraudulent. So you are gonna have to get into contact with Neil Patrick Harris and let him in on your joke. That's the only way this works.
No, I just pitch it to you when you're a few dozen beers in.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, you missed last night.
Oh yeah, no. I regret that I was not there for any of the shenanigans last night.
I had Chinese food and I had a lot of beer, and then Omega and I talked about Foundation a lot.
Yeah, speaking of Foundation, did you get a chance to watch it yet there, Zero?
I have not, no.
Oh, sad.
Publicly shame him. Everyone point.
Yes. Is everybody pointing?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pointing with.
Hang on. Let me. Hang on. Let me. Oh.
I'm pointing with my nose. You can't see it, but it's there.
Wait, okay, now we're on zero cam.
Oh.
What the fuck is that hat? I totally missed your hat,
Shitlord,
dude.
It says Shitlord.
I missed your hat. That's fucking awesome.
Yes.
Oh, God, all right, I love
Yes.
that.
As we were talking about, Blizzard Activision tonight, I figured the Shitlord hat needed to make an appearance.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. All right, yeah. Should we actually talk about some news?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there was some shit posted, so we might as well.
We got a little bit. Actually, this just to start this off, Cyberpunk is doing okay. Not great. Their big bug patches are still pushed until next year, but Cyberpunk 2077 gets a Metro thanks to modders.
And it will be completely taken down within the week.
And CD Projekt Red will probably say that this is an illegal mod. Yeah. No, they're pretty cool about this stuff. They just don't want people fucking Keanu Reeves, even though Keanu Reeves apparently is really cool with people fucking Keanu Reeves in games. So what are the devs thinking about some things? Who can say? But the Cyberpunk 2077 modders have basically made it so that you can utilize the in-game metro system. You can actually get onto the train and ride it and take it from destination to destination. You can go to any of the existing metro fast travel points on the map and interact with the gates to enter the station. From there, it's really just a metro station, and signs say where the next car goes, and you interact with them on the train to jump on. And while you're in there, you can listen to the radio. You can use the mouse wheel to switch seats.
That might actually be a mode worth getting. I don't like mod my games a whole lot, but that just sounds cool.
Yep, stuff like this that just adds to the atmosphere of the game. I'm all for it. Hopefully one day we can add 1 billion mods onto this game without it crashing, and at that time, I will buy it and play it. Still looks real pretty, though.
It's very pretty.
It is very pretty game.
But until then, suck it, CD Projekt Red. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, they had a rough year. Let's hope next year goes better for them. There are many interesting projects.
Yes, but has anybody realized that 2022 is pronounced 2022?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's because 2020 was shit.
Awful.
And then
yes.
We're at 2020 part 2. 2022.
Yes. Part D.
Why don't we both go to the fucking French meme?
I'm not sure that went where anyone expected it to.
Because fuck the French. That's why.
Okay, I guess it is time for that not to be up anymore. All right. As you will, you piece of shit.
Masami's playing Warframe.
You silly imperialist big dogs.
All the new Narmer bounty disappears at fucking night, so whatevs.
You can't do Narmer bounties at night?
Nope, fucking disappears. I don't know if it's intentional or a bug.
Mutiny.
Right. Well, I'm already you chose the name of the first king of Egypt, and I'm already like happy about what happened to Narmer. So
How many people here actually? Wait, Zero, you haven't played the new War Quest?
No, but I'm okay if you want to talk about it.
And Kosen also, I'm gonna guess, hasn't played the new War Quest.
he
I
watched me
watched
do it. So.
Masami play it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So he's in the know. I mean, he didn't see the first part, but I kind of gave him the 5.
You can see the first. You mean the first part that they like played at TennoCon, or was
I
it?
watched her do the Archon fights and then watched her go through the tower.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
He just didn't see the first part, and honestly, I just kind of like vaguely filled him in. So
Yeah, the Sentients came back and they're pissed.
Pretty much, and eternalism and all that bullshit.
Yeah. What's really funny is going on. Now that I'm done with that, I went on to try and see if other people also thought that the Archon battles took too long or they felt too bullet spongy. And I stumbled across all the top tips for what to do if you're stuck in the new War Quest. And they go through everything, right down to the little test that you take on the ship as a child. I was like, how dumb do you have to be to not be able to do that test?
Whoa. You may be surprised.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah, there are a lot of stupid people out there. That's very true.
Just
but
saying.
Holy hell.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
I started the new war on Wednesday when it came out. I just finished it yesterday because fuck Boreal. Fuck Boreal in the ass.
Is he the owl?
Yes.
Yeah. The owl. Yeah, Boreal, that's who. He's got, or he was the second guy that I did, and now apparently we're talking about the new War Quest. He was the second guy the Archon that I went after, and at that point I was miserable after spending probably between 20 and 30 minutes on the first fight. I didn't die in the first fight. It was 20 to 30 minutes of me kiting, running around, and trying to do damage. Because I may have been glitched, or I may have had a bug or something. My red crits were 396 damage. Exactly 396 damage every single time.
Nope, that's the way that goes.
You know what did more damage to that Archon than I ever did? Was when I randomly got a slash proc.
Yep.
That's the most damage that ever happened in that fight, was when I got that slash proc. But
that's unfortunate.
The owl didn't take me as long as the snake because I think I'd just given up and I was just like, fuck this, I don't care if I die, I'm just gonna face roll him, I'm just gonna go right up in his grill and be as much of a pain in the ass to him as I think he is to me. And maybe that helped. Because he's got that bubble too, that healing bubble, that stay the fuck away from me bubble. I just saw that and I was like, nope! And I went right into it and kept on firing at him, and apparently that is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I found out that if you use the number 2, it will like let you just walk straight into that fucking bubble, and I'm like, thanks. After it took me, 4 or 5 days of a couple attempts each day of trying to fucking beat that owl, dude.
Whoa, yeah, seriously. If you pop smoke, you can just walk into it.
Yep.
I did not know. I didn't try that. Didn't know that. I
didn't either.
I'll say the most of the stuff in there is not explained to you. You do get the lowdown from Hunhow. You get like, this is when they're weakest. This is when you should attack. Blah blah blah. I vaguely paid attention to that, I guess. But apart from that, they don't really explain anything or any of the mechanics to you, how it works. So you're just sort of going along figuring it out, and that wasn't terrible. For me, I didn't have a tough time figuring out how to do stuff, but I feel like I must have missed something for that snake fight. Mean snake.
See, I did the snake once and was like, nope, not doing this one. So I went and concentrated on the owl. Once I got the owl down, the snake actually ended up being kind of easy. for me. I think I did her in less than like 15 minutes.
Damn.
And then the wolf was my final one, so.
The wolf?
The
The
wolf.
wolf.
Le Wolf?
Which I chose operator instead of drifter, so I kind of wrecked face for that one, so.
Yeah, as soon as I was given the opportunity to go back to operator, I went back to operator. Goddamn right.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, hey, thanks, Drifter. It was fun. You know, I got to... Okay, so I did enjoy actually having a stealth aspect of the game. I've never
Yeah.
really had a stealth aspect in there anymore, and I grew up playing games like Thief, so being able
Yeah,
to
that
stealth
was
around the map, not lost on.
Yeah, that was actually pretty fun. I did enjoy that about the drifter. Like when I wasn't fighting Archons, I did not mind the drifter, to be honest. Like
But where I was going with that, I told this to Omega, and again, it might have been a bug, or it might have just been me being stupid, because I am. But the scripted events with the drifter, when you're like running away from the Archon the first time, or when you're, you know, running away from the Lotus, or when you're running away, basically whenever it's just like, run! I got my ass kicked. It just, like, something, a rock fell. I remember when I was running away from the Archon, a rock fell by me, and my health went from 250 to 67. And I was like, is that supposed to happen?
Oof.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, I did that over and over and over and over again because I just kept on dying. And then when I eventually figured out that my gun had disappeared, I no longer had a weapon.
oh
So
shit.
I was like, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to, you know, shoot these guys while I'm running. I guess I'm just supposed to run right by them. And yeah, they murdered me a couple more times. And then I eventually I think the game felt sorry for me and let me leave. But yeah,
I
that's
want to live.
That's the
I
part of the
did-
drifter I really didn't enjoy. Everything else was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I didn't have too many problems with that part, to be honest.
Yeah.
Although I've now figured out that when the Cetus bounty flips over for nighttime, if you catch the right phase in Venus, there's one over there too. So I'm over in Venus doing that there.
Venus.
Venus.
The noose.
I prefer the Pavel Chekhov pronunciation. Venus. Speaking of
Say the
Venus-
line. Say the line.
Nuclear vessels.
I love it. Thank you, Family Guy.
Oh no, that was Futurama.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Now say nuclear vessels. No. Oh, okay, all right. Speaking of Venus, S.t.a.l.k.e.r 2, okay, series of articles. This one up here, this was all last week. The first article that got posted was S.t.a.l.k.e.r 2 is getting NFTs, including one that lets you become an in-game meta-human. Who posted this initially? Is this you, Omega?
Probably. We talked about NFTs a little bit last week, and I remember S.t.a.l.k.e.r was one of the ones where they were offering like the ability to, you know, become an NPC. Well,
Right.
perhaps as should have been expected, there was a massive backlash, and the community did not react well.
Shock.
That's just what
Okay.
I put together a whole bunch of NFT related articles because it seems to be like the hot thing in gaming right now, and there's a lot of different versions of it happening all over the place.
Yeah, so the very next day after the initial article came out, December 15th, on December 16th, the article came out saying S.t.a.l.k.e.r 2 developer cancels NFT plans following backlash. So the NFT promo material posted in this article, they refer to the article posted yesterday, which was December 15th, respectively, was full of gibberish about becoming the first meta-humans in the S.t.a.l.k.e.r metaverse, which is going to be achieved by way of Metaversal Bridge, a term which sounded like something from a Kojima game. It's actually just face scanning. So I guess what they're going to do is actually, I have no fucking idea what they were going to do. I'm not sure what this metahuman thing was because, yeah, this is, like, a lot of this is just game gibberish.
Last time I heard the phrase metahuman, it was in DC Universe Online, and it was speaking about superheroes that were not superheroes and gained their abilities due to little mites that gave them their abilities.
Okay.
You could say they're very mighty.
Oh my god.
So
You knew that was coming. Come on.
I knew it was, and I still made me cringe.
is this where George Lucas got the idea for Metachlorians?
Probably not. No, I think that was
No.
a way before DC got their claws into the.
She's saying DC ripped off the worst Star Wars idea ever?
I mean,
Sorry.
is it really that far outside the realm of possibility that DC ripped off something dumb?
Point taken.
I mean, not to say that I'm a huge Marvel fan or anything, but I'm kind of a huge Marvel fan.
I was about to say, you could all trace it back to an idea that actually came from a Square Enix game way back in the day. For those who played Parasite Eve, the main protagonist as well as also the antagonist for that game, their powers came from a mutation of the mitochondria within cells that essentially gave them superpowers.
Yes, but also turned them wildly evil at the same time.
I mean, yeah, there was that. I'm glad somebody else played the game other than me, but yeah.
Love that fucking game.
Detail.
It is very good.
It was one of those games that my mother had to go, okay, yeah, no, you're not allowed to play that all the time because it's fucking creepy.
After I actually didn't get to read these two articles. I'm sorry, I had a busy pre-evening. But for Stalker 2, essentially what the devs were offering was a bid for an NFT offering that would be part of an auction, which would be in January of next year. Whoever ended up owning that NFT, the NFT would essentially be a token which would allow whoever held it to become an NPC in the game. But before that happened, the person who owned that NFT would be able to sell the NFT, or other people would be able to buy that NFT up until a specific claim date after the auction. So it's like a game of hot potato. Whoever's got it when the timer is up, they were going to be offered to come to the Stalker 2 development studio and have an in-depth face scan, detailed scanning procedure done on them to make the person appear in-game world as one of the characters. So fans said, this is bullshit. You're basically auctioning a way to become a person in-game, and you're using it, or you're using an NFT as the token to become that NPC.
I said as much last week. I still don't see a problem with this.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect anything that's happening in the game. The only thing that I have a problem with is that this has nothing to do with the game.
Every indie game out there has, like, get an NPC named after you if you donate to my Patreon at the $35 tier. This is fucking different than that, just on a massively larger scale. If somebody wants to drop $100,000 to a developer studio to get their face put onto some digital model in town, fucking let them. Fools and their money are easily parted.
That's a very good use of that phrase.
He is not wrong.
Can't you, in RimWorld, can't you get like a name and a backstory in the game?
Yeah, that's the fact. Like, there's like the whatever the top tier donation or like purchasing was in the original, or like back in the old days. I don't know if you still could do it. I highly doubt it now because it's a hugely successful game. But back in the old days, yeah, if you bought in at whatever tier, you would get an NPC would be put into the pool of potential NPCs, and it would have your name and backstory.
Right now, I know that you can do the same thing with Prison Architect. You can still do it with Prison Architect.
I mean, you can also totally just mod yourself in there for your own game, but like if you pay the money, you're in everybody's game.
Just a note, I've been doing that shit for years in WWE 2K. No, I'm kidding.
See, here's
that wouldn't surprise me.
I think NFT is sort of becoming a negatively associated buzzword. So probably a Stalker 2 had announced that there was going to be, oh god, especially if they tied it to charity. There's going to be a charity auction, and people who donate or spend the most money put the most money towards the charity in this auction that's happening in January. The top 10 people or top 20 people, you'll be invited to the studio. We'll scan your face in, and we'll put you in the game as a way to say thank you. If they had just done something like that and left NFTs out of this, I think this would have been completely different in terms of the reaction. People probably would have heralded that.
Yeah, there would have been like everybody would have been like, oh, this is so cool, and this, that, and the other thing. But because they had to put because NFT is it's the new buzzword, it's the new thing that everybody wants to do. Plus, there's the whole like incentive of that with an NFT. There's a chance in the future to it for its value to increase beyond what you paid for it initially. A lot of companies, corporations are going to jump on that train as much as they possibly can, even though, as far as I understand, this kind of doesn't make sense because it's an NFT of an NPC that's just actively going to be in the game.
No, it's an NFT that says that you own the right to exchange that token to be turned into an NPC.
Correct. So yeah, it's like a golden ticket. It's like a Wonka ticket.
Exactly. It's like people who are getting so up in arms about NFTs, I don't think they just understand what it actually is. And like, it's been painted as this whole stupid argument over JPEGs, and like, how are you gonna own a JPEG? And you just right click that shit and save it, and I have a copy. Like, that's what NFTs have turned into, but that's just a bunch of dumb people who don't know what the fuck NFTs are. And it's not complicated, and it's not like anything crazy. It's just a uniquely identifiable code that says that you own this digital thing. It actually happened. This is a real thing that you paid for. Now, the early implementation, what it is right now, people are seeing, oh yeah, this JPEG, it's got a unique hash attached to it that you exclusively own these rights to. And, everybody's like, oh my god, NFTs are just JPEGs. No, that's just an example of what you can do with them. You can use it's fucking anything. It's the exchange of goods and services, except it just happens to be digital. And the NFT is just a register keeping track of that and guaranteeing that it's a valid transaction. That's simple. Now, all that said, some of these applications, these early use cases of this technology are very stupid. Yes, they totally could just do a charity auction or whatever and say, hey, winner of this charity auction gets put into the game. For whatever costs, we're going to take 30% and the rest is getting donated to charity. Cool. But they didn't, and now people are upset about it.
So instead what they did was they came out with this token idea, because remember, whoever originates the NFT token gets a cut of any sale that is made on the token forever. So they essentially made a way to continuously make money, assuming that people would want to trade NFTs or sell NFTs back and forth, and the Stalker 2 developers could keep on making money off of it. This article also brings up a point that we didn't touch on last week, but it is a huge reason why people have soured on NFTs. quote, I'm just quoting here. Stories of blockchain scams and heists are frequent, and it sounds like stuff out of EVE Online, and those who haven't bought into the narrative of NFTs, or the next best thing, struggle to see how bad drawings of monkeys are going to hold onto value. When the hustlers at the top have made their money, will those left holding onto JPEGs have anything of value? So the reason that a lot of people, in short, why people are souring on NFTs is because it's a little bit like a pyramid scam. The people at the top do one thing and then they make money off of it forever. What happens when they just quit and your NFT isn't licensed to anybody anymore? Are you out the money that are you out your investment, basically? So that's what people are speculating. It's worst case scenario, but it's late stage capitalism, so why the fuck wouldn't you think that?
One statement
NFTs
I
are
have
just
to
as
make.
easily to be made by an individual as well.
Yes, that's true. But you have to have an initial investment into it. You have to actually pay something into it to register it in the first place.
Yeah, you have to pay to register any trademark.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are costs associated with it, sure, but it's a unique digital ID that can be minted for anything.
Yep.
If you're an author and your medium is online and somebody commissions you to write a work, you could mint an NFT that says that this work was exclusively created and given to this person. So if it ever gets copied somewhere else online, well, you then have a provable chain of ID. That's just one potential idea I just got off the top of my head. Like, that's something that kind of makes sense.
That's a responsible use of a blockchain technology. Yes, I agree with you. And that's probably the way that more of this shit should be used. But yeah, everybody's hopping onto the NFT train. The face this guy's making in the article says my whole thought towards the NFT market. It's just gotta wait for it to smooth out the rough edges or disappear entirely.
The thing is, it's probably not going to disappear entirely. It's still going to continue on.
If anything, it'll evolve into something different, or it'll be rebranded.
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting is that people are talking about NFTs like they're a new technology. They're not. They're a new use of blockchain technology. What we're seeing is blockchain technology developing new use cases, which is one of the biggest criticisms people have had all along of blockchain, is like, okay, cool, I understand the theory behind it, but what's it used for? And people have been arguing that there's tons of stuff that it will be used for in the future. So the time to get in is now. And that's the kind of the whole push behind crypto as a commodity. Anyways, what we have with this is just a new technology that we don't have use for it yet. We have the technology. We're just trying to figure out how to use it, what to use it. Anytime something new comes out, you have all kinds of harebrained ideas for what to do with it. And a lot of them are dumb, and a lot of them are get-rich-quick schemes. But, eventually, the uses that make sense are found. And that you could look through every technological innovation through history, and there have been look at all like the radioactive shit that people were selling as like dietary supplements, and it'll cure whatever ails you. No, I mean there's been medical uses for radiation, absolutely. Whatever.
Yeah. No, you're right. Okay, so this is just going back to what I said in this article in the first place. NFTs have become a negatively associated buzzword. So, as the technology evolves, like you say, people will find legitimate and illegitimate uses for this. It's going through a trial phase, whatever. I'm sure this is not the last that we will hear about NFT in gaming, especially because Ubisoft has announced that they're putting it in other titles. Other future titles will all have NFTs in them.
So I don't know if I posted this in there, but I saw an article today or yesterday about a game that the entire game is NFTs. Now, what I mean by
click and tear through this Doom NFT mod.
No, not that one. There's that was just a funny one where they stole a bunch of NFTs and put them into a game that you can go around. And by quote unquote shooting them, you're like right clicking and saving them to your hard drive.
You've got a camera instead of a gun. Yeah.
Yeah, so that whole game is you pretending that you're just stealing shit.
Which
Do
is
I look like I know what a JPEG is?
exactly. This looks like
Sorry.
such garbage. This looks like a fucking awful game that I would absolutely play.
But anyway, this game is like it looks kind of like Minecraft, Roblox, really blocky, ugly shit. And it's got a series of islands, and there are yachts, and there are properties on the islands, and everything is purchasable as an NFT. So like people have paid like $16,000 to buy the yacht.
Well, that just sounds like GTA with more steps.
Where are stupid
Well,
people
except
getting
for
all
they're
this money?
using real money. I mean, yeah, they do use real money in GTA, but you have to spend money for a digital currency in order to buy the thing, whereas this is just straight out real money.
Yeah,
And
well, I mean,
a
if
lot
you want to look
more.
at it, you want to look at it from a real money standpoint. A yacht, a really nice yacht in GTA, is going to cost you $50 real. If you don't actually earn the money in game. But yeah, no, point is taken. My question is, where the hell are stupid people getting this kind of money?
Where do you think?
Bank loans?
They're investing in crypto. Sorry.
All right,
I'm sorry.
Found it. Okay.
Okay.
So the game, what's it called? Fantasy Islands, a self-described luxury real estate development project of 100 NFT private islands, which are different land that is purchasable by NFT within the sandbox with architecturally unique 3D NFT villas. It's all trackable on the Ethereum blockchain. Someone just purchased. I was way undershooting my numbers. Somebody just purchased the Metaflower Super Mega Yacht for $650,000.
Good Lord.
I'm gonna pop this article into Discord, and you can put it up on stream if you want to. There's some pictures and videos. It looks awful. It's like horrific, ugly. It's just, yeah, it's bad.
I saw this. I recognize the fucking ship.
Yep. Apparently, people are paying $16,585 for the female teacher player model.
Uh-huh.
You've got to be
The
fucking
article's
kidding
from
me.
about a month ago, but I came across it while I was looking at all these other NFT stories. Yeah. Yeah, so I clicked on that link. There's a sandbox.game has an asset page for the female teacher. 3 have been minted. 2 of them are currently owned. But no copies are available for sale at the moment.
Well,
Yeah.
I agree, Max.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, Max makes a good point here. Is what we seeing is what we are seeing here the start of a gaming market exclusively for the rich, like rich people finally have their own private games that they can play?
They already have their own private game that they play. It's called the stock market.
Acceptable.
The thing is that this is a new private game for a different type of investor, because normal investors, those that actually deal in the stock market and whatnot, have not fully jumped into crypto. Now obviously they're starting to do that, as there are various like individuals and companies and whatnot that are investing themselves into blockchain technology, getting into various coins and NFTs and whatever. Ubisoft, which I can't remember. I think Ubisoft is publicly traded. I want to say it is, but I mean, regardless of the fact, this is a blockchain in and of itself, and the investment that comes from that it has been started up because of it is, just a new way to invest and essentially gamble money in hopes that or gamble in order to hope that it becomes worth
investment.
something.
That's unfortunately But it's just, Max, this shit looks like garbage.
Honestly, I'm just waiting to figure out when the see how the IRS figures out how to tax it like every other investment.
Oh yeah.
Well, there was actually not too
Have
long
they figured
ago,
out how to tax Bitcoin and stuff yet?
No,
Yes.
there was a
for years
did
it's been regulated. For years.
That's why it can be the international currency that it is. Once it caught off, once its value really skyrocketed, the IRS got on.
Yeah, it's been like at least a couple years now that the IRS has been making people report earnings and making all of the exchanges keep track. And the crypto exchanges now follow, certainly not the same, but a similar set of rules with the financial regulators.
There was actually a big tweet storm about it not too long ago, where there was basically a bunch of crypto bros that were all like, crypto is actually worth something, blah blah blah. It does have value, and and then somebody posted crypto boys say this, and then IRS is like, oh really? It's worth something? We need to tax this, and the crypto boys were like, no.
Yeah, serves you fucking right. But so this interesting article, Omega. Thank you for sharing this. This is a fucking shit show.
It is what it is.
100 NFT private islands comprised of NFT land in the sandbox, plus architecturally unique 3D NFT villas. All on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah, like we're talking about NFTs. We've talked about like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to see more NFTs in gaming. It's going to invade the mobile gaming space. It's going to invade PC gaming. It's going to be everywhere.
This is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Everybody's gonna
Thanks, I hate it.
More work for who's the biggest game pirate? Biggest game pirate used to be Codex. Now what? It's FitGirl. More for those groups to pirate and unlock, so that people can just play this single player shit on their computer and have access to all this NFT shit without actually touching NFTs. That's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, so we talked about right clicking the Doom thing. Someone bought 650,000 non-private yacht. Diablo 2 is getting its first class balance changes in 11 years. Subtitle:
That's crazy.
Subtitle: It is technically Diablo 2 Resurrected, but it's Diablo 2.
Yeah, D2R up to this point has been a pretty near as possible one-to-one replication of Diablo 2, just a lot prettier.
Yep, updated graphics was basically the big package.
But they are now contemplating a full active development cycle moving forward. They actually had a huge dev stream a couple days back that was actually hosted on Mr. Llama SC's channel. He hosted a talk with all of the D2R devs, and they laid out a lot of plans. Just a quick overview. They have announced ladders. Seasons are going to be about 4 months long, so similar to what we're used to in D3. They're going to make some stash changes to make it easier to save stuff from seasons, or from the ladder season, taking it into your off-season account. They're going to have new rune words during seasons. They've confirmed the PTR coming out ahead of time. They have listed a ton. I mean, in this long chat, they actually went through class by class and talked about different changes and improvements that they were going to make. Certainly not stuff worth necessarily getting into here. but they're also buffing the mercenaries that have been ignored since the Act 2 mercs are so good. They're not nerfing Act 2, but they are making all the other mercs better. They're buffing some of the set items that are just totally worthless and shitty. So there's going to be stuff that can be done there. There'd be a little bit of retooling around endgame. But one thing that they're really talking about, they're looking to do is, with all these individual character changes, they're not looking to necessarily disrupt the meta and make new things that are the best OP things and take things that were great and make them shitty. They're looking just to make like your fantasy playthrough of the game more viable. Like, say you want to be a weird druid build that like there currently is no build for. You want to do some weird summon shit that you can't do because it just doesn't add up mathematically. They're trying to make that kind of shit viable. Like, there's not really a good martial arts assassin build right now. It's all totally sucks compared to the trap assassins. So now they're gonna do stuff to make the martial arts a little bit better. So it's pretty fucking exciting. I am super looking forward to it. And yeah, how crazy is it that this game that is so fucking old and hasn't had an update in so long is now getting not just a visual upgrade, but actual new content.
Excited. I mean, that's actually really cool that they have decided to work on the game in that way, because it's the last major update was like 11 years ago, and that's actually really nice that they I wonder if it's just prompted by the community talking about it, that there's been this need for an upgrade, or if it's just something that they noticed on their own. I would assume it's probably a little bit of both, that they've always known what the various issues are in game for like builds and stuff like that, and with the resurgence of Diablo 2 Resurrected being very popular, probably right now one of the more talked about Blizzard games, that they're just kind of like, hey, if we want to keep this fan base going and keep this game going, we ought to make some improvements on it so people continue to play. Even though, interestingly enough, most people would probably still play it even without the updates. It's kind of like...
This seems like addressing the people who have come to to Diablo 2 Resurrected, specifically. Like Omega and I have a long history with just Diablo 2. So of course when Diablo 2 Resurrected came out, we wanted to check it out, and no regrets. But there are people who have never played Diablo 2 who just came and got Diablo 2 Resurrected. So it seems like this is an update directed more towards people who have just started playing this game and have noticed and agreed with maybe what seasoned players have been saying for years, that certain things need to be tweaked. And that's a great excuse, in my opinion, to start doing active development of shit like this. Because it's a fine game. If there are new players on here, then it deserves to get some attention, get some player retention. Market this to a new audience and keep the game going for another 2 decades.
Yeah, what I think happened is, honestly, I think they released D2R as a cash grab. Cash in on some nostalgia. Hey, update the graphics engine, throw it out there. We'll sell some copies. Whatever,
yes.
move on. And then it blew the fuck up. And a bunch of people didn't just get it and play it and put it back down. And online wasn't a wasteland. And not only did all the old players, not only did all the people who had still been playing all along switch over, all the old players came back and told all their friends who never played to get in on it. So, I mean,
now you don't have to put up with those.
crashing for months. Like that's the reason why the first 3 months of the game have just been about getting the servers stable, because they did not anticipate this at all. And then it's like, holy shit, okay, people actually want to play this. We should capitalize. So, all right, what do they want? What are people saying? All right, looks like it's time to modernize this game. My only concern is if that modernization comes along with some monetization. Because if this game is going to enter active development, we don't see very many games with active development that don't also have monetization. One glaring exception here, obviously, is Diablo 3, which
Yeah,
we
I was
are
going to
now in the
say,
midst of season 25, and I
content,
haven't
active
paid
development.
another dollar for that game since the day I bought the expansion. Fucking however many years ago, who knows? Point being, yeah, Blizzard will keep developing for a game, and it's a team of like 5 guys who are tweaking shit. They're not necessarily making crazy new content and new levels and new acts and new bosses and shit like that take a massive team, but like Blizzard looks like they're not afraid to like have a little team set aside to keep abreast of what the community is asking for and creatively come up with some new ideas.
I'll say
Which is nice.
to add on to that, I'll say that the Diablo community has always been particularly fierce about avoiding things like subscription or monetization in the Diablo games, and that is one of the reasons. That is one. It is not the only reason. It is not probably the main reason, but it is one of the contributing reasons why Real Money Auction House and Diablo 3 crashed and burned. That idea came out. It was horrible, and for a myriad of reasons, that system died inside of 2 years of launch. Or 3 years of launch. So that's basically the only exception to the no monetization in the Diablo franchise. But the reason that games like Diablo and also StarCraft have been able to avoid things like subscriptions and monetization in game and glitter and crap is because Activision Blizzard had WoW, and WoW was their cash cow. And so they could afford to do these things in their other divisions because they had that constant stream of income coming in through WoW. Now we're seeing, obviously, all the ActiBliz shit, the lawsuits and whatnot that are going after particularly and especially the WoW development teams and the senior management in the WoW division. Not limited to that division, just a lot of people seem to be targeted in there that seem to be an especially cancerous division of Activision Blizzard.
I would like to see the breakdown though, because no doubt that WoW is the cash cow, but like I still can't see them having kept StarCraft and Diablo alive for as long as they have if they were losing money on it. Now, StarCraft 2 has finally pretty much died, and that's because the competitive scene finally kind of ran out of steam, and their numbers are way lower. So Blizzard pretty much more or less said, we're not going to be really making any more updates for this game anymore. Like, this is pretty much what the game is from now on. Unless something major changes that completely breaks, like something gets discovered somehow that completely breaks competitive balance somewhere, you could pretty much assume this is StarCraft 2 from now on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is they will support a game as long as it's expanding. As long as new players are coming in, which means buying the game and making them money. So I do think, there are people, there's got to at least be enough people that they're breaking even on the dev costs for the Diablo 3 team.
There must be. Activision Blizzard is publicly traded, which means that they have quarterly earnings or whatever. I wonder if there is actually a breakdown in some of the reports that they put out, how much money their Diablo or if they even separate it like that in terms of their income. Because that would be interesting to see. Are there actually a reliable stream of new Diablo 3 sales coming in after what? It's almost been 10 years since that game released.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, just on the principle of the idea, do you think Activision would keep paying people to develop this game if it wasn't making them any money?
It gets them directly making them money or making the company as a whole money. That's a distinct. It sounds like a nitpick, but it is an important distinction. If Diablo is still drawing attention to Activision Blizzard and it's drawing people in, and they're having they're having new people come in. What the fuck was I doing? Zero, your stream dropped and it threw me through a loop.
Sorry.
That's fine. No, it's
So
okay.
is what
My
you get at
train
like
got
keeping
derailed.
just public awareness and interest in the Diablo franchise alive
In
is
Activision
itself
Blizzard.
worth
Yeah, so
making money.
So like Diablo 3 is, getting all these popular updates come, and you download the Blizzard launcher to take a look at, what's going on in Diablo 3. Oh, Overwatch, that my friends play that game. So just drawing attention to Activision Blizzard and drawing your attention to the several very popular games that they offer through the Battle.net app.
Yeah, you could be right, but just seeing as we are, as you said a moment ago, in a late-stage capitalist society, I just wonder, like, how many times have game dev studios, how many times has Activision, how many times have so many of the different major studios out there killed a beloved game just because, like, it's not making money?
Yeah, just because no money.
Yeah, hey, I would love it if there was some altruistic reason that they wanted to keep the franchise alive or whatever. I don't know. I'm almost too cynical to believe that the game doesn't. I'm too cynical to believe that the game doesn't still make at least some money. Yeah.
I bet it does. I bet you're right. I hadn't thought about, how much money Blizzard was raking in from new sales of Diablo 3, but they must. People must still be buying the Diablo 3 game. It obviously doesn't cost $60 anymore, but still.
Yeah, I feel like if it was truly in the red, there's no chance. If it's like minimally in the black, Blizzard could make the argument to their Activision overlords that, listen, keeping this game alive is cheap. We're not making any money, but the maintenance of the goodwill of the community will pay off dividends in the future. I could see that argument being, granted. But if it's actively losing money, I don't know. I feel like the cutthroat suits at the publisher would fucking pull the plug.
ActiBliz would, want to pull that plug. The Diablo dev team would be like, we'll keep on doing this forever, because they obviously love what they're doing. Or they love the world of Diablo, because as we said, I think it was last podcast, we said, because season 25 had dropped, they've been coming out with game-breaking mechanics for the past 3-4 seasons, and they've all been great. So the people who are doing this obviously have a good handle on the game, know the game very well, and enjoy what they're doing. Or otherwise, we would not see the kind of work that goes into this game as it is. But you're probably right, late-stage capitalism and all the rest of that. Also, ActiBliz's upper management is full of cunts, so...
It definitely feels like the people who have been designing the last few seasons, though, are, like, taking their victory lap, so to speak.
Well, yeah.
They're like, fuck it, we're just breaking it. Who cares?
Oh, yeah, okay.
This is our last time through. We're just gonna, every season, we're just gonna break it in a new and hilarious way.
It's like every a TV show that thinks that every season is going to be its last season, so they're just like, okay, we're going to go nuts this season.
Yep. They're just constantly jumping
again and again. Yeah.
See, I wish that their quarterly financials model for Q3 was a little more broken down than it is, because I'm actually looking at it right now.
Oh, do they not? Okay.
It's broken down into GAP or GAAP and non-GAAP, but it's not. But it's not broken down into specific lines that bring it in. It's not. It doesn't break it down into the exact lines. It just breaks it down into GAAP and non-GAAP revenue streams.
Is this an investor's report, or is it a more general earnings report?
It's the let's see here, operating metrics, outlook.
Or what's the title of the document?
Copy, let's see here, ATVI 12-quarter financial model.
Okay. All right. So Not necessarily an investor's report, where because that would be something like when an investor report came out, like you would have your investors submit questions and be like, how much did this make specifically, and that would be in a hopefully, ideally, that would be in a publicly available document as a.
I'm going to get
report.
1 share of Activision Blizzard stock, and I'm going to start asking these questions so that we have shit to talk
You
about.
totally could.
Wait, doesn't technically Leetness have Activision Blizzard stock?
Does he? I can't remember.
It's
if
what he
does or not.
said.
All right, well, time to start bugging Leetness to actually do some work for us.
Well, so the thing here is that there's also a Diablo 4 quarterly update report, which Linus brought up had been released. Unfortunately, he's not here to talk about it, so we're not gonna.
Oh, no, we're gonna talk about it.
No, we're not. I actually have nothing to pull up about it, but I do have a very fun. As soon as if we're all set on the Diablo 2 or the Activision Blizzard, how much money is Diablo making conversation, which was a good one, then we can move on to something a little fun.
Okay, fair enough.
Which I had pulled up on the screen here, so people obviously saw this earlier. But Google Drive will prevent you from sharing files that violate its terms of service. Subtitle is, it's unclear just how proactive or reactive the new measures will be.
Oh, it's definitely going to be reactive.
You don't think proactive? You don't think Google is going to start scanning things that you put onto your Google Drive to see if it violates, if it has a hash that is registered with Google for copyrighted content?
Eventually, they probably will. I think that they're going to be pretty reactive at first to show that they're... I think they're going to want to go for... This is speculation, but I would think that they would go with the more... Because it kind of goes with the current model that they have with YouTube, where their copyright claim systems and whatnot has been mostly reactive in the way how that it works with the adpocalypse and everything as such. It was reactive at first, where they were basically hitting channels, doing this, that, and the other thing. Heck, the system, when people are just posting things fresh on YouTube and then it scans it as it's playing, is more of a reactive system than it is a proactive system, at least in my mind. That's kind of how it works. So I figure that at first, with the whole Google Drive thing in violation of terms of service, it's going to be mostly reactive. They're going to look for the keywords and everything else such, and then nuke it from orbit. And then
So
eventually,
that's explicitly proactive, though.
Yeah, looking for keywords would be proactive.
Reactive in this sense is if users report it.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. So in this, in the YouTube,
right?
terms
Sorry,
of the
my apologies. I got my terms mixed around. Sorry, my apologies.
No, that's fine. You brought up the adpocalypse, which is a good one, and in a financial sense, it would make sense for Google to use a more reactive system, or to use an exclusively reactive system, because even if you have a proactive system, you would still require a reactive system. Why would you have 2 when you could have just 1? And the way one would work, for the adpocalypse at least, is people reported things, or advertisers themselves reported things, and Google took action, and then Google was proactive in going through these channels and identifying all this content, and only after people had reported it. So in terms of reaction, I think financially that makes a lot more sense here, just because it's cheaper to do one than it is to do both.
Yeah.
So
what brought this up anyway? I'm guessing that there had to have been an instigating incident that has pushed Google in this particular direction.
I mean, it's not exactly a secret that people can use Google Drive to upload things and share them.
We've certainly never done that on our Discord.
Yeah, it's not like that's ever happened here. That would be wrong.
All the rules.
Yes, that would be wrong.
This is just another instance of probably copyright holders going to a big tech company saying, "Hey, people are abusing one of your services to violate our copyrights. We want you to do something about it,"
or pay us.
these laws that say that you're responsible for doing something about it, and if you don't do something about it, we'll sue you. What's interesting in the article, though, they say like what it basically lays out is if your stuff does get flagged, it won't be like deleted and it won't be made inaccessible. You can still access it. What it's saying is that you are allowed to use Google Drive to store your data. So if you have, like, you could legally own a copy of, some digital video, some music album, whatever, you bought the digital copy of it, you could put it on your drive for storage and for your own personal usage. But if it gets flagged, you won't be able to distribute it through your Google Drive anymore.
Right. No, you will not be able to share it with anyone, even if they have a direct link.
So
it'll be tied to your Google account.
It seems like Google's trying to weave this middle ground of like letting you still use, like, put stuff that may be copyrighted on Drive, but if you get caught sharing stuff that's copyrighted on Drive, they can disable that.
But in terms of, all right, so the article also makes a note that, quote, "This announcement is initially alarming from a data privacy perspective." Yes, because Google is taking a look at the shit that you put on your Google Drive or into Google's cloud, which, I mean, I get it. Like, you don't want people looking at that shit, even if it's Google. Fine. But just off the top of my head, a way to completely circumvent this, put whatever fucking content you want into a RAR file, password protected, throw it onto your Google Drive.
I had the same thought.
How the fuck is anybody going to know what's in your password protected RAR file? Then you share it with anybody and you give them the password and you're like, okay, yeah, now you have whatever, the whole Foundation TV show.
But also, like, the HD ISO quality file of a movie is going to have a different hash than the 1080p ISO, or the 1080p video versus the 720p video.
Okay, hash detection
if you like
stupid.
Cut off a little bit from the front or the end, you could do it. So even like
change one pixel, the hash changes.
Even if they, exactly. So even if they actively try to scan for hashes of copyrighted material, it's going to be really difficult for them to prevent it from just being worked around really easily.
Yeah, for visual media, at least, they would adapt, since Google owns YouTube, they would adapt the YouTube algorithm that's capable of scanning through visual media, and it bases all its decision-making on actual scans of images that it takes, and identifies that and pairs it with copyrighted content. So that's how that shit on YouTube works anyway.
Yeah, there's nothing to stop them.
To kind of respond to what Kosen was saying, when the adpocalypse occurred, and this is completely anecdotal, so throw me under the bus if you need to.
Babe.
There were a lot of content creators that I watched, and that I watched regularly, that when the initial adpocalypse occurred, it wasn't just their new content that was affected. It was their entire back catalog that got pulled. A lot of people who made commentary, a lot of, things that were taken down for being, quote, bullying and harassment, because it was reaction channels, people who were reacting or commentating on specific topics and video types that were immediately turned around, and their entire back catalog was gone through, and half, or a little less than half, may have gotten deleted right off the boot. Granted, they had already made their money off of those videos, whatever, so they didn't lose much, but still they lost that content. There were several creators that just said fuck it and deleted their channels and moved to other platforms. So I mean, the original adpocalypse was at first, I guess you would say, reactive. But for some creators, it was retroactive. and went back through the back catalog.
Yeah,
so
that was good. Well, that's what happens when you fuck with Google's paycheck. Advertisers were pulling out, so yeah, they may have gone above and beyond there, just to protect their bottom line. I don't think anybody. Well, there's no ads in Google Drive or anything like that. So
nah.
It's probably what Omega is saying. It's just like, yeah, you have copyright owners or companies that protect copyrights of owners coming to Google saying your platform is being abused, in a BitTorrent manner. So you should probably do something about this before we take actions or matters into our own hands.
I.e. Disney.
Yeah, I could imagine Disney doing this. Not really happy about whatever the fuck brand new movie they have being pirated.
That would be Spider-Man No Way Home.
Is that in theaters yet?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I haven't even seen the last one that they put out before that.
It is on pace to shatter records, or has already shattered records.
Of course it has. Or, of course it will. Whatever. Both. It don't matter. None of this matters. So, yeah, that's the new system that Google is planning for Google Drive. Not to be implemented until next year. But, yeah. And the last two we have are, well, one's kind of serious. Intel once again warns of chip shortage continuing until 2023. So we have at least another year of graphics cards and just anything with a computer chip on it costing way more than we are accustomed to because of a chip shortage.
So, I mean, things are going to end up costing more anyway because of scalpers, so this is just par for the course.
In the graphics card department, yeah, that's true.
Did anybody see this on Twitter? There was some guy in Minnesota that basically was showing off a video of his warehouse that he basically has his crypto mine in. He's got like the server bank in rows with video card GPUs that he's got lined up for crypto mining and all this other kind of stuff, showing it off, basically being like, all hoity all high and mighty with what he's got there. And then not too long ago, somebody doxed the address of his warehouse, and he's deleted like all information, like his Twitter account's gone and everything along those lines because of the information that's now gone out about the location of this dude's warehouse and how much hardware he currently has that he is bought either himself as a scalper or basically bought from other scalpers for the purposes of crypto mining.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Pretty much.
I really feel sorry for people that do that. I mean, I get it. You're trying to make money off of a completely legal and legit system to make money, but I'm just reminded of the one crypto farm that's in New Jersey that's being powered exclusively by its own gas power plant, natural gas power plant. An entire fucking natural gas power plant needed to be brought back online to supply this place with the power that it needed to mine crypto. It's like that's not. That seems like it's bad in terms of CO2 emissions, in terms of energy usage, and in terms of what you could be doing with that instead.
Oh, but don't forget, crypto is the way of the future, and it's green.
Well, crypto is the way of the future, but it is far from green right now. Oy.
Nobody ever said crypto is green. It is going to be a part of the future, but if you'll be mad at something, be mad at the fact that we're still using natural gas and coal power plants.
Absolutely, yeah. If you could somehow do this off like solar or wind or something, I would have nothing to bitch about.
Now that my
nuclear is the way to go.
Now that my father no longer works in the natural gas industry, fuck natural gas. My stepfather works for the railroad, so I have to support Cole for the time being until he retires next year.
Does the railroad still uses coal?
The railroad is the biggest transporter of coal. Norfolk Southern specifically is the biggest transporter of coal.
Transport of coal. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, fine. Yeah, but the trains are what, fucking either diesel or
90% diesel.
Yeah, okay. Still, what about solar powered trains?
Could you imagine if one of them got to a hill? Done.
Can you imagine what would happen if a train had to go up a hill at night? Solar powered train going up a hill at night? Yeah.
Hashtag fuck.
The thing that's really funny is currently solar and wind can produce a lot of power. The main problem is that our current energy infrastructure, we don't have the ability to store it.
No, I thought you were going to say like transport it. Yeah, we don't have a better battery quite yet. We've still been working on that for years. But the other thing is we don't have the infrastructure to transport that amount of power across the country. Like we don't have the lines set up, the high capacity power lines set up.
Yeah,
and nobody wants to fucking build them.
There's a certain range that power can be efficiently transmitted across. So it doesn't matter if you can store a shit ton of solar power in the New Mexico desert. That's not going to help you if you need power in Maine.
Yeah, in Maine, right. This is that sort of distance, which is where the better battery comes in, because then you have an entire industry of just charging batteries and transporting them from one place to another, which seems stupid, but is actually... I shouldn't get too much into this. I don't know much about it because I've only heard a couple people talk about him. And one of them was Elon Musk, and he's not a great source of information. So, whatever.
Who would have expected?
Fucking everybody. Oh, that crazy man. Speaking of crazy.
All I'm going to say is it's almost like there should be an infrastructure plan that we need to get passed to be... Oh, wait.
Well, we got half of it passed.
leave it to
the Democrats to not be able to get their shit together.
Leave it to West Virginia to completely fuck up the entire country.
Yeah, that's pretty par on the course for West Virginia.
Scientists taught a petri dish of brain cells to play Pong faster than an AI.
Wait, what?
Human
That's
brain
super
cells
cool.
In a petri dish learn to play Pong.
I didn't read the article. I just shared the headline. I don't think the article's necessary. It's just a headline.
Yeah, right. A team in Australia began growing...
Headline, brain cells. That was clever.
That was clever, actually.
Oh, all right. Easy now. So anyway, a team in Australia began growing small puddles of brain, and now one has learned to play Pong in a fairly impressive time. So yeah, it's competing with the AI, and it's winning. So
that's super cool. I'm not gonna lie.
That's strange. So yeah, bioneural gel packs. Basically, we're creating the Starship Voyager.
Yeah, it's happening.
Which is great.
Neural gel packs will be the future. No more computer
isolinear. Chips. No more isolinear chips.
Yep, silicon chips are the way of the past. Embrace the goo.
Become one with the goo. The goo is life. The goo is love.
Sounds like
the bag of goo.
Sounds like a good idea.
Hey, the bag of goo is smarter than we are.
We are all as one with the goo.
I bet you that bag of goo could beat me in Pong.
It could definitely beat me in Pong. My thumbs are stupid.
My hand. I bet you Masami is amazing at Pong. I'm sorry, that just happened to cross my mind.
I mean, I did enjoy playing it on the Atari. Like, that was a good time. I had fun with that.
Warframe is up on stream right now. I need to draw attention to the fact that Masami is playing this game with her thumb. So, yeah. This is strangely appropriate comments come out.
Yes, yeah. I am absolutely using my trackball. It's really great to turn on a dime because it involves no wrist movement whatsoever, which is fantastic.
Oh, my sure, thumb, yeah.
My thumb moves a shit ton faster than my wrist does. So.
All right, so we're all since we're all done with the articles now, much Warframe. Who did okay, Omega, who did you pick at the end of New War, at the end of New War Quest? Who did you pick for her to become?
Margulis.
So
I
Omega
also
went with
chose.
Margulis.
Yeah, my thinking was that, like, yeah, let's see if you agree with this, Masami. My thinking was that Nata was a monster.
Right.
She didn't want to be that no more.
Right.
The Lotus was, I guess, a placeholder. Lotus was created because there was an absence of knowing what she was or what she, could be. She just knew that she was caring for these kids.
Chilling.
But, like, the origin of that caring for those kids, that came from Margulis. Like, Margulis was the first one who loved the Tenno and cared for them and gave them that sort of motherly attention. And I've heard arguments that, like, the Lotus is the true being, that Nata is what it once was, Margulis is something it never was. So, like, I've heard that argument, but to me, I think, like, I chose Margulis because I think that is what Lotus aspired to be.
There you go. Masami, any thoughts? Also having chosen Margulis?
I mean, I am on basically the same page there. Like, it also plays into the fact that, well, playing through the story content, like, Ballas always wanted like it kind of says in the quest, Margulis, he wanted Margulis for his own, but she never, took the bait. But yet she, the Lotus was just kind of almost another lie in a way. Like, I feel like since Margulis was the original intention, that, going back to the beginning is somehow fitting for the restart. That, and I absolutely fucking love the character model for Margulis, and I had to have that. So
you saw her chest.
Margulis had the best titty beat.
Yeah.
I mean, that, and I hate the hat thing. Like, I hate that people can't see through their fucking eyes, and it bothers me.
I'm kind of over the crab Lotus headgear. She's like, she's got a crab. It's supposed to be like a Lotus helmet thing. It looks like a fucking crab shell. I'm done with that fucking thing on her head.
And, like, I might get the like the Imperial Lotus or the fancy Lotus they've got for her, but
pretty badass.
Yeah, so I chose Lotus. I'll be the asshole of the group. It's fine. And I told
no, the asshole is whoever picks Nata.
Yeah, that's
you don't want that fucking hulking monster to be calling you when you're out on missions.
Just be like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna do
my
it
face
just
is just
to be that asshole.
Just put her as Nata.
I can't wait till Reb comes out with the graph to see whose people chose, because I know she's going to. Some fucking dev stream, she's gonna break out a chart of people's choices, and it's just gonna be great.
It's gonna be
glad that she
Margulis.
came back from getting, cigarettes and milk finally.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was she actually came back from the convenience store. It was great. It's gonna be Margulis when she brings out that graph, because of Omega's absolutely valid observation that she has the best titty meat. So that's definitely going to happen. Anyway, I chose Lotus, and I told Omega why I did this. It was because of a line that I know for a fact. I've never replayed a Warframe quest. I know for a fact that I only ever heard this line once, and it was 4 years ago. And Masami, just what happened to your stream? There it goes. Never mind.
She was moving too quick.
Line that I heard 4 years ago that still sticks with me is that dream not of who you were, but of who you could become. So for some reason, that line stuck with me in the quest line, and that to me, okay, Nata was who she was. Margulis was who she never was. That was the mantle that was sort of bestowed upon her, bestowed upon Nata. So it's like she was wearing the mask of someone else. To me, Lotus was the only entity that it represented whatever she wanted to become, because she was the Lotus when Ballas was no longer controlling her. So if they had given me a fourth option to be something brand new, I would have picked that, just because of that quote, just because of that little bit there. But that's my reason.
Actually,
honestly, same. Like, yeah, if there had been like, because I was like, why are we picking between these three things? So yeah, no, I agree.
Those are the three identities of her that we know. So it's nice. First of all, it's nice that we actually got to save Space Mom. I have a feeling that somewhere in the development process, Steve pitched the idea that we killed the Lotus and we took her place or something like that, and we became the new whatever. And he hopefully got a lot of shit for that, if that ever occurred to him at all.
There were a lot of people in the community who thought that. I saw a hilarious thread on the subreddit a couple days before the update dropped, and it was a question something along the lines of like, what weapon are you going to use to kill the Lotus? And everybody was saying like either the paracesis or they're like listed all the various different things that they wanted to use to kill the Lotus. It was pretty funny. So that was definitely a popular theory. You're not alone in thinking that.
Anyway, I'm glad it didn't happen.
I mean, that theory that we were gonna, like, I actually walked into that quest legitimately thinking that like that was gonna be the decision. And when you reach that one moment between the operator, the drifter, if you chose the drifter, and fuck, I can't remember who you're running against with the era or something maybe, and you're like, yeah, we might have to kick her ass. Yep, we might have to do that.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
Maybe the line is, maybe if she was stronger, we wouldn't have to.
Yes.
Which was, I mean, yeah. On the other hand, why even have that in there? Because honestly, she's been fighting this war for a long ass time. She's older than the operator is. She has ostensibly more wisdom and knows a thing or two about a thing or two. Gosh, I'll tell you. A little bit of Midwestern sneaking in there. So it's
like you've hung out with me for a decent period of time or something.
Oh boy, you betcha. So it's like she's, maybe it is a very like kid thing to do, a very like teenager attitude. Obviously I know better than the adults.
Mm-hmm.
So from that aspect, maybe it was a good idea to put something like that in there and be proven wrong. I was happy that the idea was proven wrong. But yeah, there's always been, in terms of the Lotus lore in this game, there's always been that doubt as to whether or not she can handle herself around Ballas, because his whole shtick is that he's a manipulative monster.
Well, good thing we kicked his fucking ass.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice, putting a
sun-worshipping bastard.
Putting a big fist right in his butt.
Praise be to the sun.
Praise the sun.
What an awful boss fight that was, though.
I was like hovering over Masami's shoulder.
Yeah, I would have had
her do that fight.
I would have had a lot harder time with that fight had I not had a backseat passenger, to be honest.
So I was talking with Doc about this last night, and I'm going to echo with a slight addendum something that I said previously about DE. DE is a great digital art studio, and the addendum is storyteller.
Right.
And they are terrible game developers.
Absolutely.
Like, parts of it were fun. Okay, playing as Call and playing as Velo were awesome. They were so fun.
And Call were great.
Even playing as Teshin, that was pretty cool. But
that was okay.
The operator stuff, I actually really super enjoyed stealthing around and killing shit as the operator, and like I really had fun running around with playing as that character, or sorry, the drifter is what I meant. Playing as the drifter, I really love stealthing around and playing that. All of the Archon fights and the final Ballast fight were terrible.
Yeah.
The story was great. Going and seeing Hunhow, that was so cool. That was awesome.
Fun. That was fun when you're doing around there and the stalker is showing up and murdering people in front of you. Being like, hi, buddy.
The story, if you like Warframe lore, the story is great. If you like pretty lights, DE is really good at the pretty lights. God, they fucking suck at making a good game, though.
It's like Steve saw somebody play The Division once and saw them pouring bullets into a boss and was like, well, I guess that's one way to make this game more difficult.
I mean,
I told you that's what it felt like. I told you it felt like a fucking Division bullet sponge boss, my first Archon fight, and some of my second Archon fight as well.
Well, what was it that we said last night that he saw, and that was what he finally released?
Dune. Okay, the very end, when the man in the wall just pops up riding on that giant statue that goes, I was just like, Omega, this is the beginning of Dune. And I was like, oh my god, it's like he saw Dune and he decided, that's how we'll finish it.
Yeah, it's like that's why they hadn't announced
an accurate statement.
And then Dude came out, and Steve was just like, "Okay, yeah, I know how we could wrap this story up. Announce a release date, December. We're good." It's like, okay. I mean, Steve has as much as admitted that half the features in the game are stuff that he's ripped off from other games that he's played.
Assassin's Creed.
I mean, on the subject of the man in the wall and the internalism stuff, like in their great storyteller aspect, how great are the callbacks to the DeVry paradox crap from 2019? Like the mask hanging in the Zeramon.
I'm so good
mask that
with
guy's
that.
wearing.
Yeah, I'm so good with fucking bizarre sci-fi shit. Just more of that. Okay, just fucking weird me the fuck out. This is the reason that I enjoy Frank Herbert novels in the first place, is because they're fucking nuts.
I explored that derelict Zeramoon ship way more than I probably needed to, because I was looking at every little corner like, tell me.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff there. There were a lot of little camping areas where people had been living for a hell of a long time. Yeah, no, it was great open area to sort of walk around there, and I really, as much detail as there was, I feel like they could have spent another couple months just putting in more shit, just small things that are interactive with, like a little remember this from your new war quest?
I actually turned it into a glassmaker style scavenger hunt.
Yeah, that's I hear that glassmaker, glasswalker, whatever it was like the whole scavenger hunt thing was actually really poorly implemented. Well, there are some people that thought it was fun, but
that one scene in New War where you were like where you were the kid and you were on the ship and you were walking around slowly investigating stuff, I for a second thought that's what it was, and I was like, no, not the scavenger hunt. And then I was like, I just have to go over here and talk to this dude. We're fine.
Let's get back to Nicolas Cage. Not the bees.
So I had a brief moment of rage that they brought that mechanic back, because that's how awful it was.
So
I'm the only person in the group who enjoyed this.
When it comes to the glassmaker quest, and this is just me being 100% honest, and I would rather shut my nuts in a car door repeatedly. I mean, repeatedly shut my nuts in a car door.
Poor glassmaker.
Because
that's fair.
I sat there for hours looking for shit, and I went, and it was like you'd go to try to find a guide, and it's like, it can be in one of 7 places on this map, and you're like,
yeah, it's unique for everybody, because fuck you, internet guides.
Please just shoot me square in the chest.
I mean, if I live near you, I would have to act on like half of this bullshit you say. So maybe that's a good thing we're not moving to Virginia.
Nah, come on now.
Not only did you not know where they were, you couldn't be sure what they were going to look like when you found them, and you had to remember fucking details about them for a pop quiz at the end.
Yeah.
Yep. That was
I was never a good. Can I just say I was never a good test taker in school? I
cheated. I took notes.
I still actually have it's an envelope from. I got a bank statement the day that the first glassmaker thing came up, and so I just took the bank statement's off somewhere else, but the envelope is still pinned here right above my computer monitor, and it's got all the answers to my glassmaker investigations on it.
Yeah, it's in my Warframe notebook. I actually have a couple of notebooks on my bookshelf next to me here, and it's like I've got my WoW notebook, which is collecting a lot of dust right now. In fact, I probably need to clean the shelf. There's my Warframe notebook, and then there's my D&D notebook and books.
You want to know the terrible thing is that when I got to that fucking fight and I had to remember the things, I just kind of guessed for a while, and then I'm like, oh, right, that works. I'm actually a great test taker. But then again, I read whole chapters before the test, so that's a mistake.
I was looking the other day because one of the things for Nightwave is the option to redo the Glassmaker fight. First of all, why would you want to? But I guess, if you never have, then fine. I was trying to think, could I actually remember, even with this thing above my monitor, could I actually remember all of the shit that I need to fight him? Like, probably not. It's like you have to study for Masami, you're absolutely right. You're studying for a test before you do a boss fight. It was an interesting mechanic. It's interesting. It's new. It's bizarre. I'm not going to fault anybody for trying something new in terms of a boss battle mechanic, but I'm glad that they just did it the one time because once was enough. It's like the new War Quest. I'm not exactly disappointed that I can't replay this because those Archon fights once was enough.
I mean, now that once I got the whole thing, I'm like, okay, next if I replay it, I do the snake, I do the wolf, and then I leave the
then Hooters.
Hooters for the ad.
So when I do this, Snake, Wolf, Hooters.
Actually, a lot of people recommended not doing the wolf at all, leaving him to be your third boss. They recommended doing either snake or owl first and second.
So you said though that the snake was super hard.
I know. I don't.
Owl and the wolf, and like they were bullet spongy and a little slow, but they weren't hard. And then when I did the snake later, I just walked right through it.
So that was the thing, is I couldn't figure out, like, for the life of me why it took me so long to do that snake, because I died once and I was like, oh, okay, I get to be in trouble one time, at least one time, and the stalker's gonna come and he's gonna pick me up. Cool. I don't know if you got to do that like more than once. I don't know if the stalker just picked you up every single time that you died, but the one time that I did die, the stalker came and picked me up. For the rest of that fight, I did not die. I was just kiting around. And not exaggerating, at least 20 minutes of just like taking pot shots, running away, healing as much as I could. And I don't know if I don't know if my fight was bugged or not, but
no, that's right.
Felt like I was doing no damage. I felt like I was fighting an Eidolon with an unmodded Ceranos.
I mean, you're probably not wrong. Yeah, my experience was because I'll admit that I don't play Warframe because, I have to work terribly hard at being ridiculously overpowered. Like, I want to, if I want a hard fight, maybe make it last 5 minutes, but anything past that just somehow fills me with seething rage. And I own a laptop. So these two things are not good in combination. So I did the snake once, died about 3 or 4 times, and I mean, it died in that, I dropped, stalker picked me up, I died again, and then it starts you over.
Oh.
From that start of that phase. So, like if it, like, cause each Archon fight had 2 phases, there was the one, then
right.
Brand to it. You get 1 pickup per phase.
Okay.
But so I tried the snake like 3 or 4 times and like, oh nope, fuck this. I'm gonna try a different one. I'm like, let's start with the owl on Earth. Earth is the first planet you get to. Maybe it's the easiest. So I did all
correct.
Not correct. or at least not for me, because that was Wednesday night. And I tried the wolf a few times on Wednesday night, had a similar sort of experience. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna throw my laptop out a window. I will be out a laptop and a window. So we're not gonna do this.
Frustrating gameplay on a computer that you're capable of throwing. Yeah, I see why that's not a great idea.
So I put it down. I'm like, I'll sleep on it. Came back Thursday, tried the wolf, or not the wolf. Tried the. At this point, stubbornness has set in. It's like, I'm gonna get this fucking owl if it kills me, but without damaging my apartment or my computer. Tenuous balance at most, or at best. Tried it a few more times, still didn't get it. But I'm getting better each time. Like, I'm getting further through the health bar, and I finally start, it's a couple days past. I'm like, okay, there's now YouTube videos and shit. So I watch a few YouTube videos, get a few pointers, talk to our friend who plays PS4, and he gave me a few things to work on. And then I didn't get an opportunity on, I think, Friday or Saturday to do any attempts. I finally did a couple on one of those days, whichever day I actually got to manage it. And then finally I got to Sunday, and I was like, okay, I think last attempt was pretty good. I think I can get it. And that's when I finally got it. And that's when Kosen started paying attention to what I was doing. So that is my 3 or 4 day long struggle with those fucking Archon fights. Like, everything up until that was fine, but those Archons.
You're right about the boss fight and the whole. If it takes longer than 5 minutes, it gets frustrating. Everything. So the thing was that obviously it wasn't the snake fight took me a hell of a long time. It obviously wasn't very difficult because I didn't really die except for the one time, and I got a free pickup apparently. So.
Yeah, you get one free pickup, and then it starts you over from the end. Which, after I defeated the owl, the snake was suddenly super easy, and
that is so weird.
Yeah,
I think what you were going to say, the boss. Okay, so a boss fight, taking a wicked long time. Excuse my masshole accent. Taking a wicked long time to kill some shit in Warframe. Yeah, it aggravated me. I was really pissed off at the end of my first Archon fight. What didn't aggravate me was the Viso boss fight against the mini jackal. Okay, that was interesting mechanics. You had to utilize at least 2, if not all 3, of the bots that you had for that quest system. You had to figure it out. It was intuitive for me. I figured it out after the first time I failed because one of those things got electrocuted and blown up, and I was just like, oh, okay, shield drone. That's right. Okay, I need a shield drone to protect him from the electricity, and that was the only difficulty that I had for that fight. It probably took me about 5 minutes.
But that one almost reminded me of a puzzle, that whole mission. It was like a series of puzzles. And it was like, you have these 3 tools. How do you use these 3 tools? How do you shuffle this thing into this place to protect this thing to do this thing? It was like you're making your own little mini 3-part Rube Goldberg machine everywhere you go. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that's why I absolutely loved. That was my favorite of the 3 non 10-0 people that you got to play.
I mentioned it to Omega. I told you, Omega, that whoever it was that was working on the Corpus level, that was the person who was probably the best at game design.
Yes.
That is by far the coolest.
By far, that was the best designed of the alternate missions. Call is my homeboy.
Call's good. Yeah, I got to throw grenades. Call was pretty good.
Yeah, that was my favorite. The Vero was definitely the best.
I love how Omega is doing the Ladvi thing. He never pronounces the name correctly, and I kept on correcting him last night until I finally got it.
Yep.
It's a good meme. The only way, I don't know if anybody else here ever watched Defiance, but the Viso was the name of one of the main characters.
Oh, Defiance on Sci-Fi? I love that game. Or, not game, sorry, that show. It was really cool.
It was a better TV show than it was a game, but yeah, there is a game out there too.
Well, yeah, the entire premise of that sci-fi show was the fact that there was going to be an MMO that went alongside it, and basically both the TV show and the MMO affected each other. It was interesting in concept. Didn't work. Nobody liked it.
Didn't work. But it fucked up the MMO, but
Yeah.
New and weird. They tried something new. I won't fault them for that.
Yeah, I do like I do like risk taking like that. It has merit, even if it doesn't work. Even if it doesn't work, it has good merit for it. But yeah, it certainly was not the best, but it was interesting in concept. Sometimes in oh God, what is the name of that Native American gentleman? He was in Maverick. He was in a bunch of other. He was in Thunderheart. I can never remember his name. I know it's Joe something. But it was like right in the beginning of the very first episode when he was chanting defiance, to basically rile up the crowd in order to essentially show up one of the aliens that was like some political figure in the community. But
It's not
sometimes
Graham Greene. Graham Greene?
yeah, no, it is
Yeah.
Graham Greene.
Yeah.
Greene. But yeah, that scene plays in my head a lot because it was the one scene in the entirety of that show that hooked me because I was just like, "Oh, this is interesting." Like it was like the concept of the show was like super weird and all this other jazz, but that scene was just like I actually want to see where this goes. It was weird.
Oh, it's good shit. Anyway, New War was overall. Now that it's done, now that
Oh, we
feel
need our
like,
moment of silence for Space Dad.
oh yeah, that's the other thing we were playing, or you were playing earlier, Masami. It was a Steel Path mission. Your little hologram of Teshin popped up, and Omega had to point this out to me. He's like, "Have you gone to see Teshin yet?" I was like, "No," and he took me to a relay.
Oh, it's hard fucking wrenching, is what it is.
I don't. So we brought everybody back to life, and everybody's fine except for Space Dad, or is he just now he's out buying cigarettes?
I want to say he's going to be out buying cigarettes because I'll be honest, like, yeah.
That's the thing that I asked Omega or Omega is just like, yeah, this is a hologram or something. That there's all the rest of that, and we got into this discussion of like, who the hell on this station would put a hologram in for the space stepdad who's been camping out in the basement for years? Why hasn't this room been reclaimed into a storage closet? Wait, what?
I am the emergency Teshin hologram. Please state the nature of the conclave emergency.
It's
I
like,
mean,
This
that's
has been
why
a
I
test
think
of your emergency detection system.
that's why I honestly think that he's out buying cigarettes and he just left the answering machine on.
Yeah,
That's
That
what it
makes
is.
sense.
It's the ETH. It's the emergency Teshin hologram.
So yeah, now we're gonna have to deal with holographic. We can't have real Teshin and holographic space bomb, or holographic space bomb and real Teshin.
We have to accept it. Teshin died. We now have the emergency Teshin hologram, and we need to teach the emergency Teshin hologram to be a real Teshin, like they did in Voyager.
So he's gonna get him a mobile emitter.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be a
Great.
real boy. Sorry.
if anything else,
He's gonna start singing opera,
oh god,
and then we
he's
need
gonna
to
find
get
a
him.
he's gonna find a
little,
planet
like-
of little people, and they're all gonna be enamored by his singing skills. And then he's gonna quit Warframe, and then he'll be back 2 days later when he's like, "Yeah, they don't like me anymore."
We need to get him a little like half female robot thing that he can also teach to be a person alongside him.
It's like
So I don't honestly know if I am just that if Warframe's ability to like bring people back from the dead or out from getting cigarettes and milk or whatever is just so prolific, or whether I was somehow secretly more attached to Teshin than I realized. But I didn't actually believe he was dead until I saw the effect of the Steel Path missions or going to the Conclave to get the Steel Path stuff. Like, it didn't sink in until that moment for me. So I was a little wrecked even afterward.
I
No,
don't
Daddy
get why we couldn't.
Teshin.
I don't understand why we couldn't have we reverted most of that. Did we revert a timeline or something? We brought, because we got Operator back. Operator came out. Oh, piss off, Ghost.
Hello, man behind the wall, who apparently I made a deal with.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we made a deal with the man behind the wall, who's a secret asshole. Surprise, surprise.
I don't think it was a secret that he was an asshole, honestly.
No, yeah, probably not. The funny thing about that in that scene in New War where we were going around is I did what you did, Masami. I was enamored by the surroundings, and I just looked at everything, and I spotted the dude sitting in the corner. I was looking for Rel, that's who I was looking for, and I spotted that person sitting in the corner, and I sort of like scooted my camera over, so I pressed against the window, and I got as close to the face as I could to see it, and I was like, that looks exactly like my operator. Weird.
The minute that I saw the person, like, I was like, wait a minute, the back of the head, that's the back of my head. Oh, fuck you, man on the wall. What the fuck are you doing here? Like, I instantly knew.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ghost.
Where is Rel? Yeah, piss off, Ghost. Where was Rel during that whole thing? Was he crawling around in the vents, clawing and going crazy? I thought he started off with the kids.
I mean, maybe? Yeah.
Rel was one of the Tenno.
Well, yeah, no, he absolutely was, and I thought he was there in that classroom when the whole incident happened. Obviously, we've never experienced it before. We only heard the tale in, what was it, which quest was it?
It's in Harrow's quest, whatever the fuck that is.
The one that I told Zero to play with the lights off?
Yes.
Yes, and I did it during my 12-hour at the end of my 12-hour stream.
Oh,
yeah.
even
I love
better.
that quest.
That was great.
I'm not gonna lie, that Harrow quest is so creepy, and I love every
fucking
absolute moment
and
of it.
I'm not gonna lie, I did have nightmares. The thing is I was playing it with headphones on, it wasn't so much the ambiance that got me, it was the whispers.
Yep.
That shit does stuff to my brain because, I mean, the voices are already there. It doesn't help that there's something in a video game that amplifies them.
Or justifies them.
Thank you.
Zero's life is basically the entire game of Sueña's Sacrifice. That's a deep cut if anybody's ever played that game.
I mean, I'm not schizophrenic, which is, I believe, what she had in the game, but...
yeah, something like that. Multiple personality disorder at least.
I mean, I've got BPD, but you know,
that doesn't usually come with voices.
No. I joke about the voices. About the voices.
Yeah. But no, you're right. In the Harrow quest,
it does
the whisper, because they drop the sound out. The whole fucking sound drops, and it's perfect clarity in those whispers. So, AAA for sound design, as Omega said, they're a hell of a design studio.
And I will tell you, it's absolutely hilarious when, you know, I was talking to my wife last night, and we were talking about, you know, things that have happened in my past. And I went, yeah, the voices don't talk to me too loud anymore. And her eyes got about as big around as dinner plates. And she was like, please don't hurt me or the dog. And I'm like, I'm joking.
And joke.
Never mind, can't make these jokes anymore.
Yeah, I won't lie. I heard about how creepy it was ahead of time without spoilers. I made sure to play it during like the summer, during the day, during the brightest hour, because I had a lot of really bad nightmares because of
Did I do the
slasher
Hero
flicks
quest before you did, and I was the one that told you how creepy it was?
No, I'm pretty sure I beat you to it.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
It's probably Omega,
I was one of those
could have told Masami. If Omega and I told Masami about it, then one of us was probably the asshole and told her to do it in the dark.
Oh yeah, like we both did that. I remember when you and I did that, Doc. Because for a long time, you and I were pretty much paralleling our progress.
Yeah, we were keel and keel.
So, yeah, definitely, that's what we would have advised.
I'll tell you, the game that I will have to say, the game that messed me up the most when it comes to horror style games was the original Silent Hill.
Ooh,
and you want to talk about a game that, like, my mom, and because that game came out my freshman year, 8th grade freshman year, in high school, and my stepdad was playing it and I would watch him. My stepdad would fight the ghost would fight the demons from Silent Hill in his sleep. My mother took the game, cracked it in half, and threw it in the trash because she got almost pushed out of the bed twice. And my mother was a strong, as she likes to put it, my mom was a strong, independent woman who didn't need no man, and she wasn't about ready to get pushed out of the bed by one.
Yeah, no, understandable. Actually, no. So I went through in school. I went through a horror art phase, and one of the design principles that I picked up was actually from one of the game designers for Silent Hill, who I believe went on to consult for the Silent Hill movie. Which, whatever else you want to say about it, was a beautifully textured movie.
Oh,
Oh, it
absolutely.
was.
The design principle behind it was that in most horror up to that point, the point was to make a monster that would terrify you when you saw it and make you close your eyes or look away or just, try to do something to shield yourself from the madness, essentially. But in Silent Hill, that the designer behind it said his goal was to create, or she said, the goal was to create monsters which people didn't want to look away from. That they were like just so interesting to look at, that they were scary, and what was the environment around them and everything was terrifying, but you wanted to look at the monsters, which is why Pyramid Head is so fucking iconic. There's nothing independently of that character. There's nothing really terrifying about him. It's just a dude with, an apron on and a giant traffic cone on his head. But put it into the context of the story, that thing that you're staring at is fucking menacing.
It really, I mean, I think what creeped me out more in those movies wasn't even the creatures, it was their movements.
Yes,
it was
movement
the
is another
way they
thing.
moved
The
that
nurses.
creeped me out. The nurses
Well,
yeah, the way
creeped
those
me
move.
straight the fuck out.
I
Body
think,
language is big.
depending on whether or not if Doc can confirm this or not, if I remember correctly, one of the things that Silent Hill was really supposed to take advantage of was the whole uncanny valley effect. In regards to the things that you faced off with, the nurses, the dolls, Pyramid Head, whatever, they were supposed to be, as close to human as they could get away with and have, but their movements and the way that they looked and everything like that was supposed to, essentially draw your eyes, and you couldn't look away, but you just were like super freaked out the entire time. That's definitely the design that they were going for there, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, the small children at the beginning of the movie, at least, were definitely, that was some uncanny valley shit right there, because it was just enough for you to be like, there's something wrong with that. It's like Tom Hanks in the Polar Express was not supposed to be terrifying. He fucking was.
Yeah,
That's some
absolutely.
freaky fucking shit. So yeah, they did take advantage of that. In that one aspect, at least, they did take advantage of the uncanny valley, which is essentially CGI that is so close to human, and yet it is so far away from human. And yeah, that is an effective horror technique in the Silent Hill verse, at least in my opinion. No,
Yeah, I don't. There are certain types of movies that I will not watch. Anything that involves horror and children, I'm out.
like Children of the Corn.
Kids creep me. That's the reason why I don't like movies with horror and kids.
You must really hate Chucky.
I really should have known that before Curtis Strahd.
believe you me, Chucky
Please weave in more kids, Masami.
Zombie children.
Vodak
Please.
will kill them all.
Zombie children. An army of zombie children.
Vampire children.
That kind of gets into the whole thing, though, because Vodak does protect children, so that would put me into a moral quandary where he would likely just sit down and die. He would just welcome the sweet embrace of death.
Well, why didn't he just take what he... Okay, so he'd get freaked out and accidentally, break one's neck, and then he would freak out because he just broke the neck of a child, and he would use that child to just beat the rest of them to death.
Okay, not a bad idea. That takes the whole, I had to beat him to death with his own shoe.
So sad.
takes that whole thing to a new level. That Wayne's World, the Wayne's World 2 thing. But no, I
When Wayne's World 2 reference in there. Not a movie that gets referenced a lot.
yeah, no, the all had to beat him to death with his own shoes. Love it.
We're past 2 hours, so we're into the post show now. But yeah, GG's everybody, and we'll be back. Okay, are we doing a podcast next week? Because we're into the Christmas season now. The next time we do this would be the 27th.
I have nothing pressing going on, and I
I'll
took
be
all of
here.
next week off. So
Yeah, I know a lot of people are taking this week off. Apparently, my yeah. Anyway, okay, so we might have a podcast next week. Probably we'll have a podcast next week. GG's everybody. Thank you for coming. Long penis.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. And the post show begins.